Good morning, everyone. How are you? I hope you had a good time, connecting this morning, having your coffee. But I just thought I'd give you an advertisement about CRIN. So we are the Clean Resource Innovation Network, and today this is our Digital C3, co-hosted with my colleague Heather Herring. Well, maybe not co-host, co-sponsored. Anyway, so what's CRIN all about? So let's talk about CRIN. So CRIN's vision and mission are here on my left side. I won't repeat it because it's there, it's visible. But, we're really aiming to make sure that we have a full network of networks and we continue to connect with others. And so last month I got to travel to Ottawa and present at the Clean Fuels Association Innovation Workshop. And so it was kind of cool to see a different perspective. So I don't get to spend a lot of time on the downstream side and talk about the innovation work that we're doing in Alberta. And so on the right-hand side, you'll see, because we are the network of networks, you can join too. And if you're not a member, it's easy to join. Just click on that QR code. But don't worry. I will show it to you again at the end of my introduction to CRIN. So okay, so seeing that we're the network of networks, let's just show you who the networks are, or who's the members of our network. And these are the members of our network. And so our goal is to collaborate. And so that's why you see the digital C3. We're talking about collaboration, connection, and conversation. And so these are the groups that are part of the CRIN network and continue to grow. So we're probably close to 5,000 members by now. But let's take a look at our program objectives and what we've done so far. So just to let you know, we've received $100 million from the federal government through the SIF fund. And through that SIF fund, we've been able to develop some technology. And so $80 million went towards 3 competitions and 67 projects, and where we took technology that was between TRL 6 through 9 and got it commercialized. So pretty cool. We'll be able to report soon on the progress of some of those companies and how they've been able to commercialize and the impact that they've made. And then $20 million of that 100 million is supporting the ecosystem, supporting events like this and other events that we host throughout the year. So what are the 7 areas that we focus on? And so the next slide, oh, look at that. See, I don't have to tell you, you just know the transitions. These are the 7 areas that we work in. And so cleaner fuels. So that's why I got to go to Ottawa, was part of the cleaner fuels. So this is part of the collaboration across the different themes. We do get to connect as a team about once a month. And just talk about all the things that we're working on. So, and today, Heather and I co-lead the digital oil and gas technology. So that's what this is all about today. So we can discover more about what's going on in this space. We've got carbon capture and value-added products. We also have methane monitoring and quantification and abatement, novel hydrocarbon extraction, novel land and well site reclamation, water technology development, and we have 5 key sectors that we run across. And then CRIN at a glance, just again to show you what we've been doing. I said 5,000 members. We're pretty darn close. At 4,300, 5,000. I'm in sales. I get to round up. So we've hosted 95 events to date and supported and amplified 500 plus events. So we have over 150 volunteers with over or close to 10,000 hours. Yes, I'm rounding up again in volunteer time. I think these mornings count as volunteer time. Okay. As I mentioned before, 67 projects and created about 2,800 jobs. So fantastic work by CRIN. But today we get to focus on Blue Marvel. And so I think I forgot to introduce myself. I did, didn't I? So I'm Nanette Howe-Covington. I'm with Spartan Controls. By day, I'm actually seconded to Avatar Innovations as well and supporting the whole innovation ecosystem. And then I serve as the co-lead of digital oil and gas. And Heather and I are also on the Technology Enablement Committee and as well as the steering committee as part of CRIN. So lots of great things to do, and we have so much to offer to Canada and to the world as part of CRIN. So yeah, I told you there'd be another QR code in case you missed it the first time, you get it the second time. But I'm here to introduce my good friend, James, you need a mic. So, well, no, you need a mic because, we're going,
Test.
we're online.
Oh, yes.
We're
There you go.
online. We're
Hello,
online.
folks, if there's anyone online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always someone.
Always
online.
on someone.
They'll see it later. It's recorded too. So James, tell me a little bit about yourself. You're a software engineer by training?
I am, yeah. So I came out of the U of C actually in software engineering, and then I went straight into oil and gas. So I was with TC I Can Point because I literally sat in those windows straight across at TC Energy. So I came into the control systems, managing the data historians, their Pi historian, and then layering on preventive and predictive analytics on top. And then I did a strange 180. I got the opportunity to move into commercial. And so I ended up being the commercial lead for all decarbonization efforts on the Canadian assets on the commercial side. And then I did another 180 and I started a long range emissions and environmental monitoring company, which was an exciting ride. And now here I am at Blue Marvel. And what I really like, and a big part of the reason I came over to Blue Marvel, is that as Marcel would tell you, the challenges of the energy transition are tremendous. And what I saw when I was working on the decarbonization side of things is that the best opportunity right now for industry is to optimize the assets that they already have. You burn less fuel, you reduce your CI. You don't have to spend 230 million on a carbon capture facility out of the gate. You can optimize, and then that's what really attracted me to Blue Marvel was not only that approach to optimization, but also having come out of industry. Blue Marvel's approach and kind of going first principles instead of straight to AI really resonated with me. So that's been kind of my journey is through operations, through technology, and now landing at an operational technology company.
Cool. So you've got something unique to share today with us as far as introducing the crowd to who Blue Marvel is.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're the first live audience for our new video here. Weston worked very hard with our contractors to pull this together. So we're very excited. Also to show it on a giant screen is really cool.
Does this mean we're taking off to space? Is that what we're
Something
doing?
like that. Yeah. I mean, we need our branding to fit in here, right? So we have to.
Well, launch it away.
Imagine for a moment the momentous feeling of being the first person to see Earth from space. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin experienced this profound revelation. The Earth, a stunning blue jewel in the vast cosmos. It was a moment that changed his perspective forever. In 1972, the Blue Marble image was transmitted back to Earth and captured the imagination of the world, forever reshaping our view of our home planet and ourselves. At Blue Marvel, we channel that same awe and transformative power to your industrial enterprise. Just as the Blue Marble provided a new perspective on our planet, imagine having a single, unified view of the entire health of your operation. Now picture a world where real-time insights and historical data unite, giving you the ability to translate complex information into clear, actionable steps. This is not a distant dream. It's your reality with Blue Marvel. Combining 140 years of industrial automation experience with cutting-edge software engineering and artificial intelligence, Blue Marvel not only delivers operational insights, but the action required to achieve material outcomes through our global network of automation partners. Like the first astronauts who gazed upon Earth and saw it in a new light, you too can experience this transformative clarity. Our solutions provide the ability to monitor all facilities across an enterprise, from field device alerts and control system optimization, all the way up to enterprise energy and carbon efficiency, all from one single platform. Blue Marvel isn't just about technology. It's about turning data into the driving force behind your success. With actionable insights, you can make confident, informed decisions that push your operation forward. See your industrial enterprise like never before and experience how Blue Marvel will empower you to take action with confidence. Blue Marvel, Insights to action.
What'd you think, Dan?
Well, what do you think? That was a
Imagine
pretty
for a
cool
moment
world
That's-
premiere.
the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, clap.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Woo, woo, woo. Do you want to find a seat or do you want to just stand?
Ah, I'm okay standing.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So am I. So, cool insights, taking things to action. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So explain more about what Blue Marvel and the key things or key problems you're trying to solve in the industrial space.
Yeah, so Blue Marvel is focused on three core pillars. And so we have safety and risk, industrial optimization, and then energy and emissions. And the really interesting piece of Blue Marvel is that those three traditionally siloed data sets we pull together with what we call cross-product intelligence. So it's all one platform. And so we can, identify an energy efficiency or emissions upset and drill right down to, say, the sticky valve that's leading to your boiler inefficiency. And so that's the big problem that we're focused on is pulling that data that's usually either stranded at the edge or stranded in some SME's Excel sheet, and bringing it to an enterprise view, so we can analyze it and view it at a level where we can make real impacts.
Right. And so part of that is actually cleaning and contextualizing all that information as well, right?
Well, that's exactly it, because a big challenge that we see in the called the AI space, but a less trendy way of saying, the analytics world, is that a lot of folks will come in and say, give me all your data and I'll solve all your problems. And anyone that's been in the industrial space long enough knows that it doesn't quite work that way.
Right.
Industrial data is very dirty. Our sites go out, we have outages. And so that's a big one of the big advantages that Blue Marvel has is that we come from industry, and we're connected to the biggest automation companies across North America. And so being able to actually integrate with any automation system and pull that data out and provide the context and have the understanding to actually extract the value from it is tremendous. Or even a big part of it is actually being able to walk our customers through, right? Like, not just saying, here's the golden goose that you're going for and give us our data and we'll get you there. It's having a tiered approach and having solutions to step them through and provide value all the way through that journey to get them to that, whether it's carbon intensity monitoring or energy management, is a tremendous part of our offering.
Cool. So James, what sets Blue Marvel apart from everybody else, like and other AI driven platforms? What makes you unique?
So that's a big part of it is that kind of tiered step through and that industry knowledge to get our customers to the outcomes that they're looking for. But another piece is not necessarily going straight at machine learning or AI. It's understanding that implementing first principles analytics or stepping them into an expert system, which is AI, but it's kind of like how they used to do it in the 80s when they're beating chess masters, those kind of AI systems. So understanding the industry and the data well enough to walk our customers through maybe those more fundamental steps and provide value, and then get them to the AI piece while wiring them up for the long term to manage that data. So it's a long-term solution, not a quick win.
So how do you use the data aggregation to optimize real-time enterprises then?
So the aggregation piece is a really important piece of the platform, in the sense of aggregating, whether it's your OT data, your field device health, and alerts with your control room bypasses, alarms, operator actions, your PID loops and your advanced process control, all those data sets being aggregated, then tying that to your energy efficiency and your carbon management. So that's a big part of that data aggregation. Once we've set up that digital foundation and have that data in one spot, then drawing context across all those traditionally siloed data sets is where we draw tremendous value from.
Cool. And so let's take a look at some of your platforms. You'd mentioned that there's energy and emissions.
Mhm.
So let's look at the energy platform, and you've got this BlueMarvel.energy platform. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So tell me more about what inspired the creation of Blue Marvel Energy.
Well, I'd like to tell you a big, tremendous story, but honestly, it was like the rest of our products. It came out of a customer request. So everything we built alongside industry, and so energy we built alongside actually was a paper and pulp opportunity
Cool.
that energy came out of, and within that first year, it provided a $1 million return on that deployment. But and so it was really just building it alongside that industrial partner and then productizing it to bring it to a more generalized focus, whether it's for energy or pulp and paper. But it's really focused in on those energy management systems that folks are starting to turn their attention to when they look at optimizing their systems rather than implementing these expensive
Right. And so
energy
this
transition solutions.
this leads to supporting, energy efficiency goals and emission goals. And so does it align with any codes and standards like that we should be aware of that's significant for our customers or?
Yeah, so I mean, that's a good point, Nan, actually. So you as you go to optimize these assets, what do you work towards? What does good look like is a huge part of that journey, right? What are you working towards? And so in the energy space, the major standard is ISO 5001. And so that really is the standard that folks are working towards, and a lot of regulations are pushing industrials towards is meeting that standard. So what good looks like, and that's what our energy platform is designed around. Is helping our customers achieve that outcome of being ISO 5001 compliant.
Or 50,001,
It's
you mean?
50,001, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I'm like 5,001. Okay. Well, we'll go through this 5,001 times. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get 5,001 opportunities for Blue Marvel after today.
Well, there you go. Or 50,001 would be even better.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. We'd have to clone you 50,000 times. So how does Blue Marvel shift the perspective on energy from a fixed overhead to a manageable variable cost?
Well, honestly, it's all about having eyes on, right? And having those predicted energy utilization versus your actuals, and being able to adjust on that. And as we discussed, that aggregation of the data sets from the field and your control systems, being able to actually drive towards optimizing that energy efficiency is a major piece. And so going from kind of blindly just pushing towards optimizing your production to optimizing production with an eye to sustainability. And that's actually where it ties in with the carbon product as well, right? They're kind of two sides of the same coin: your production, your energy efficiency, and then your carbon intensity. And so having those two platforms together provides tremendous value.
So let's step through the second platform.
Yeah, sure.
Right? So you've got Blue Marvel Energy, and then the second platform is Blue Marvel Carbon.
Yeah.
And so elaborate more on what that product does and simplifies your emission accounting.
So carbon has two focuses. So there's the enterprise carbon intensity. So you have asset level carbon intensities that then get rolled up to an enterprise carbon intensity. But a big part of that carbon intensity is also as you start building out environmental attribute generation solutions. So whether you're tacking on carbon capture onto your facilities, et cetera. And then so there's that balance of your environmental attributes offsetting your carbon intensity, et cetera. And so that's what carbon's focused in on, is that carbon intensity, but then also automating and streamlining the generation of those environmental attributes, because it is tremendously complex, generating those environmental attributes. So you need to do the reporting based on the standards. You need to do the monitoring. So, keeping eyes on, is it you're hitting your forecasted attribute generation versus the actuals. And then the verification, and the verification is the really challenging piece,
Right?
Where then you need to take your
Right.
reporting and go to a third-party verifier. You need all that management of change handled, because if you change the wheel in your compressor, that changes your calculation methodology, and all that needs to be accounted for in that verification report. So it gets tremendously complicated,
right?
very quickly, and so that's what the carbon platform is designed around.
Right, especially with C-59 and the requirements for complying to international standards. I imagine the work that we're doing is very critical.
Mm.
Have we seen, lots of questions around what we're capable of doing and actually complying with this new standard or new requirement?
Yeah, so we've actually been inundated with requests to have a look at the carbon platform. It's coming top of mind because traditionally it's been on someone's Excel sheet, right? It's this complicated Excel sheet that sits on someone's desk, and it's the compliance world is getting beyond what an Excel can do, and no one trusts anyone else's Excel. So as a succession plan,
Yeah. Cut and paste.
Bob's Excel sheet isn't trusted by Janice who's taking over, kind of thing. And so having a platform to manage that complexity and guide the corporation through these kind of troubled waters of
Right.
of reporting.
So it's auditable and verifiable then.
That's right. Yeah.
So I know I went off script on that last question.
No, that's okay.
I tend to go off. How does real-time asset level CO2 accounting feature work, and what benefits does it provide to industrial enterprises? I think you
So
covered.
what was the question again?
So how does real-time asset level CO2 accounting feature work, and what benefits does it provide to industrial enterprises? How does it work, and what are the benefits?
Yeah, so the way it works is really, again, I guess actually what would set us apart from other AI companies is that the first thing we're going to ask you is to look at your process flow diagrams and your P&IDs. So it's pulling that process knowledge and identifying the gaps in your measurement and the gaps in your capabilities to deploy those products first off. And so that's kind of that tiered approach, is stepping them through, and getting them to a point where they can actually deliver that data and have a real-time CO2 calculation for their assets. And then then you tack on kind of the verification part and the reporting part. And we partnered actually with one of the leading carbon market companies in North America to guide us through that reporting and that verification side. So we're experts in getting the data and crunching the numbers and our computation engines and all those pieces, and then layering on that carbon market intelligence.
Are we allowed to share who the partner is?
No, we'll save that announcement for
another day. Do we get another rocket?
Yeah,
Do
you
we get
can't
another
show a video and
Yeah,
announce
yeah,
a
yeah.
partnership, right?
Yeah.
That'd be too much for one presentation.
So let's talk about, you've talked about what's unique about this solution. Let's talk about what's coming up. And so Emission Reduction Alberta announced, so one of CRIN's partners, announced the SEMI program. So the SEMI program is the Strategic Energy Management Initiative, and that's available till March of 2027. And so knowing that, you've got these two solutions, how does that fit into the SEMI program?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're very grateful to ERA because I feel as though they wrote the SEBI program for Blue Marvel, but the energy solution. So that's that kind of the tip of the spear for the SEMI program. So you have your that first analysis of the requirements for your facility, and then Blue Marvel can step in and support alongside our automation partners, both on the getting your facility with the appropriate data foundation and measurement, and then bringing it right up to guiding the customers through those steps to get to a full energy management system. But another side of the SEMI program is also accounting for the carbon intensity changes that energy management system has deployed. And so by having both of those in our platform, we can both deliver on the the energy optimization and energy management side of things, and then also account for the carbon intensity reductions through that
Oh, that's
program.
cool.
So it's kind of a one-stop shop for the SEMI program.
So have you done an analysis of all the different industries that we could potentially support in this effort with the SEMI program?
Well, honestly, the analysis is pretty easy because any industrial, uses energy to produce their product or deliver their service. So I mean, yeah, I think that the SEMI program is a phenomenal opportunity for any large industrial or medium industrial, for that matter,
Right.
in Alberta. So, I mean, energy, municipalities, wastewater, pulp and paper, whatever, industries,
Spaces,
spaces, yeah.
even space.
Even space, there you go. I don't know how much space operations you have in Alberta, but
Well, I just have a couple more questions for you just to close off our conversation today before we continue with our networking. So now you've got the two platforms, Blue Marvel Carbon and Blue Marvel Energy. Do I have to say the dot in between? Anyway, they complement each other to create more sustainable and efficient energy and ecosystems. But I think you've just talked about how they do that.
mhm.
But what's next? What happens once we're implementing this? What can we do? What else is there?
It actually gets really exciting from here because the reporting and verification, if we're all being honest, is kind of the boring part. It's what you can do once that data is in place and, start aggregating those data sets and layering on market intelligence. So our unnamed partner here, bringing in their intelligence to be digitized and then, layered on top of the environmental attributes and carbon management and start advising customers on the best way to manage their enterprise in that view and the same goes for energy, enhancing the models and the more data we get, the more powerful this all becomes. And so it's all up from here. It's really exciting to be in this space right now.
Oh, that's so cool. And so what's really exciting for me is also to know that James also wore his Planet cufflinks. His
Full Blue Marvel today.
Full Blue Marvel.
Yeah.
Your inside of your jacket is space.
It is. I even have rocket ships.
And it's rocket ships. So my last question.
Fully branded up.
Yeah.
Weston took care of me here.
So the final question, where do we find that outfit? No, just
Well, we can give you socks today. Cufflinks are off Temu. Very affordable.
So this was a great conversation, James. I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to hearing more about what Blue Marvel takes on and next. And then the safety and risk piece is we didn't even get a chance to cover today, and because we're almost at time. Are we not at time? We got lots of time? Okay. Well, we'll go into Q&A time.
Sure.
How does that sound? Does anybody have any questions for James? Not for me, but for James?
I'm going to start us off.
Yeah, fire away.
Just curious, James, if you can tell us a little bit about Blue Marvel's entrepreneurship journey. So if you go back a little bit to when you guys got started, what helped you get started?
So it's a bit of a unique journey because Blue Marvel actually came out of Spartan Controls. And really, we've been an entity for a few years now, but the genesis of Blue Marvel goes decades back. And so as Spartan was building out solutions for their industrial customers, there was identified which solutions were really impactful for those customers. And then those solutions were productized. And that was really the genesis of Blue Marvel was a productization of that decades of knowledge and experience. And then the evolution from there has been really the journey of taking those solutions and making them generic enough to fit other industries and deliver the outcomes that other customers globally are looking for. So, we're very heavy oil and gas. Well, how does that energy efficiency go from the oil sands to then a pharmaceutical company in the Midwest or what have you? And so that's been a big part of the journey is taking these, solutions that are heavily biased towards oil and gas and productizing them and making them more generic so they can fit all those pieces. So that's been a big part of the journey. But it's definitely been interesting. Nan actually, I guess, would know this journey better because she's seen it from the very beginning. I joined when Blue Marvel was already an entity, but maybe I'll kick that back to you, Nan. In the early days of Blue Marvel, what did it look like?
Well, early days, Oh, man. The questions aren't supposed to come to me. They're supposed to go to you.
No, we'll field them in both directions.
Yeah. So, uh, um, anyway, we saw a need, again, customer pull. And so customer pull was, had us looking at different ways of doing things so that we had a different avenue to be able to deliver solutions across Canada and across the world, to be honest. And so we know we've got these unique things that we've developed in other industries, because we work in 14 different industries across Western Canada. And so pulp and paper is one of the areas. We've got mining and potash also as well in Saskatchewan. And so we noticed that there is transferable technology and information and products that can go from group to group to group. And so this is why I think CRIN is awesome, because it is a network of networks. You can connect someone that's in pulp and paper to someone that's in mining to someone that's in oil and gas. And so I think that's part of the genesis of Blue Marvel, is that there was customer pull. We decided to develop a new company on the side. So Blue Marvel stands up independently on its own, even though it's supported by Spartan.
But to your question about what helped, it helps being supported by a large automation company. Absolutely.
So follow on to that, was there funding sources that you tapped into early on that helped you get to where you are today?
For sure, because really this started out as a relationship with Alta ML many years ago. And so, and there was funding that went to Alta ML to create this lab. It was an AI lab. And so that's when that's when we really did our own customer discovery and conversations to understand whether or not there was a need for this separate company. And so, yes, there was funding. I don't recall the sources of the funding, but it wasn't CRIN.
No, I don't think we were around then.
No, you
not
weren't.
sure.
You weren't around then.
Okay, so just another follow-up. Can you talk a little bit about where you are today versus where you're heading? So you are operating in Canada, in oil and gas, of course. What's on your horizon?
So actually, we are currently deploying a pilot in Iraq, which is very exciting, with a large oil field there. We're also getting significant traction in the US, particularly in California. So working on hydrogen microgrids. So that's again bending, the energy application, which was designed for pulp and paper and oil and gas, and bending it to hydrogen microgrids. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a lot of the same equipment, just configured in a different order, right?
Different product, right?
Yeah.
It's a different product.
It's just,
Wasn't there
exactly.
a chocolate thing that we were doing too?
Yeah, or vineyards.
And
Yeah,
vineyards?
they've all
Yeah.
got pumps. It's all
It's all
end of the day,
industrial
It's
equipment.
all industrial equipment.
Vineyards
exactly.
in Canada?
Vineyards in No,
In California.
California.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is okay too.
Yeah.
I like
Absolutely.
California wines.
Yeah, especially when you're the BD guy that gets to go visit these facilities. It's those are
And
always
you don't
choice
bring me
trips.
back gifts.
Well, you don't want the stuff that's going through the pumps. at the
No, you
vineyard.
don't,
You
you
want
don't.
the
You want the
product.
good stuff.
Yeah,
the product.
exactly. Yeah.
So apart from space being your next frontier, what are you looking to? What markets are you looking to expand into next?
So the opportunities that we're really excited about are on the carbon and the energy efficiency front. So yeah, like the hydrogen space, where we're getting a fair amount of traction, or as these hubs start to come to fruition, the carbon sequestration hubs, we're leaning into that quite heavily. So those are probably, my background sustainability solutions. So I nerd out on that stuff. So that's probably why I'm saying those are the most exciting. I'm sure if you talk to someone else at the company, they'd think something else was the most exciting, but those are definitely what get me up in the morning.
That's exciting to me too. So I nerd out in that space as well. So yeah.
Can I also ask, do you have an idea of how many patents you have at this time?
I
In
can't speak to
existence or
that. Oh,
pending?
there you go. Someone knows better. We have 2 at this time.
We've got 2 at the moment.
So this is Kyle, our product manager.
Yeah, and I think our data science team is probably a few more in the hopper right now. Most likely another 2.
Yeah. And in total, I think between Spartan Controls and Blue Marvel, there's 24 patents, with some that have expired over the years. So
So when we talk about the energy specific application, we talked about a lot about the aggregation and contextualization of the data, IDOT. Does Blue Marvel actually then again just simply contextualize or bring it forward as a single pane of glass? Or are they looking at providing the like AI insights into how to actually specifically comply with the 50,001 other regulations or optimization efforts that we may want to deploy?
Yeah, thanks, Marcel. Yes, so that's two sides of it. So there's the single pane of glass, the enterprise view at a glance, what I need to pay attention to, kind of go on with my day. But the real powerhouse of Blue Marvel is the computation engine in the background that is layering on that contextual information, labeling the data, and cranking out those analytics. Sometimes first principles, other times AI, depending on if there's enough data, if the models are sufficient to achieve those pieces. But it's delivering on both of those pieces. Although, I mean, oftentimes it's the only piece that people see is the single pane of glass, so they don't realize all the work that's going on behind the scenes. But yeah, that's definitely the most challenging part is effectively delivering that. Yeah.
And you mentioned models. Like, is this Blue Marvel working on their own language model or utilizing some that are already in existence?
So we're building out our own models. So we have a whole team of very talented AI engineers that are building out those solutions, and a big part of that is having the data sets to train those models on. And the traditional, if you're talking large language models or generative AI, when you ask the questions for industrial solutions, the general models aren't going to have the right information. So it's about curating libraries of the correct information and then building out inference engines and large language models that are specifically going after those and having your data appropriately stored. So maybe it's well, I shouldn't say maybe, the most optimized form would be in, say, graph databases. So building out those graph databases, those inference engines, having all those pieces so it's optimized. And you don't want to look at a spinning wheel while it tries to figure things out. You want a system that's optimized for your data set and for the outcomes you're looking for.
So James, what are some of the barriers and challenges in getting all that data?
Well, it depends. Honestly, it's customer by customer, right? So you've got the majors, like a TC Energy is fairly well wired up, or an Enbridge is Bob. Yeah, so Bob. An Enbridge, they're well wired up. But as you go to the more the mid cap or the juniors, they tend not to have the sophistication or the automation to bring that data to, say, landed in one spot, whether it's a historian or what have you, or just having the data connections to the field. And so that's a major challenge. And that's actually our latest product rollout has been tweaking our computation engines to actually take snapshots of data. So if you have an asset that isn't bringing data back to corporate, but you still want to run those analytics on, we can do, a quarterly or biannual or annual report. And so we'll take a dump of that data, run it through our computation engine, and then deliver a snapshot within the platform, as well as a deeply technical SME report. And so what that enables our customers to do is to, while they try and write that business case to, say, implement Inmation or Pi or whatever they're trying to do, they need to show returns on that. And so what that solution does is it enables our customers to see the return on value of having that connected system and write the business case to then deploy those
Before
solutions.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Any other questions, anyone? Oh, there's one over here on the right. I think there's this gentleman in the green shirt.
Yeah,
Hi,
hi,
Glenn.
gentleman in the green shirt here. Data security.
Mhm.
How do you handle client data and the learnings from the data at any given asset or within any given company? And and where I'm going with this, I guess, is there an opportunity for de-identified data that can be used to train models that can be applied to other clients, or is it all kind of behind a ring fence on a client by client basis? And obviously there's nuances and issues and potential. Well, anyway, That's the crux of my question.
Thank you, gentlemen in the green shirt. That's a great question. And it is a serious consideration. I mean, the dream scenario is where you could use, you know, data across industries to enhance the models. But the reality is that industrials, and for good reason, hold their data very, very tightly. And so I'd say that for the vast majority of deployments, the data needs to be kept both logically and physically separated from other customers. And honestly, our system is actually designed to not hold any data. And so it's so we'll draw on their data sources to run the analytics, but never actually hold any of their data in our platform. And that's really focused in on the cybersecurity aspect of it and to alleviate those challenges. Yeah.
Any other questions? All right. Well, that's a wrap, I think. Thank you very much, James, for joining us
Thank you.
today. Fully kitted out in Blue Marvel gear.
I do my best.
I just have my Blue Marvel pin. Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you online. We'll catch you at the next Digital C3.